With Euron Greyjoy commanding our naval forces, and Jaime Lannister leading our armies, the sons and daughters of Westeros shall defend our country.
Hello and welcome to this week's big question about Game of Thrones. This week we're talking about the episode The Queen's Justice. I'm Andy Hartup and I'm joined by Lauren O'Callaghan.
Hello. And
the big question this week, is Cersei really going to win the Game of Thrones? Because it was really stacked against her at the start, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, this episode went a really long way to kind of putting her back in the game. You know, where she was at the end of season 6, they were like, she's on the throne, but she's not in a strong place of power. And this episode's like really kind of changed things around. You know, she's taken down Highgarden, she's got the money, Euron's destroyed part of the fleet. She's looking really, really strong now, but it needed to happen really for the story development. Otherwise, it was just going to be a slam dunk for Daenerys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think a lot of people had written Cersei off at the start of the season because obviously Daenerys had this really powerful army, she had the dragons, she had all the Dothraki as well as the Unsullied, she had all the allies, she had Tyrion on her side as well. You thought, how could she possibly lose? But I think Euron being the factor of chaos that he was last week, and I think Jaime, I mean, a lot of people underestimate how smart a military tactician Jaime is. I mean, he's got a lot of experience, and I think he's outdone Tyrion on a number of occasions, and I think it's looking really, really good for Cersei. I mean, the big question is she going to win? I think what victory would look like in that case is she completely crushes Daenerys' armies. Do we see that happening?
I think it depends when Daenerys is when they go head to head, really, because her whole tactic of not taking King's Landing right now, because obviously it will murder lots of innocent people, makes sense, but it only makes sense as long as she looks like she's still going to win. And if things start to go in Cersei's favour even more and it's looking like she's not going to win, she's not going to hang around at Dragonstone, you know, with her dragons and all of the army not doing anything. She's going to attack even if it does mean lots of innocent people dying because she knows she has to win. Mm-hmm. So as soon as it looks like Dany's in a tricky situation, I think she's going to throw her full force at Cersei. Depending on how long she waits to do that, I would say it depends on who's going to come out the victor in that showdown.
Because the current situation as it is at the moment, quite cleverly, she's got no fleet left anymore because she had half a fleet after Euron had destroyed all Yara's ships, and then she sent the Unsullied across the sea in the remaining ships, and Euron has smashed them up as well while they've been sat in Casterly Rock, not killing the entire Lannister army. So they're in a very strange position because her Unsullied, who are her main fighting force, are all the way over in Casterly Rock, which is on the other side of the continent. Her Dothraki are still in Dragonstone, and the Unsullied have no way of getting back other than marching across the entire continent. So I think it sort of neutralises her for quite a while. I don't necessarily think she's going to be in the position to invade King's Landing.
Yeah, I mean, it needed to happen. Because she was looking far too strong, and that's why it's gone this way. But I think people have always overestimated the power of her army because she does have a massive force and they are formidable, but there's no reason why the Unsullied and the Dothraki would fight particularly well together. You know, dragons are not that predictable. It's great that she has all these allies and these supporters in these armies, but it doesn't necessarily mean that she will definitely win. And now it's looking even more unlikely because, like you say, they're split up, they're spread out. And you're right, Jaime really did get one over on Tyrion because it looked like he was making a lot of sense taking Casterly Rock. And by the end of that episode, it looked like a huge waste of time.
Yeah, massively.
Yeah.
Big own goal. And I think taking Highgarden, while I mean, Lady Olenna admits herself that they're not particularly good at fighting. It's still very strategic. They've taken that, and more importantly, they've taken Highgarden's money. So they can pay back the bank, and the bank will probably throw more resources at the Lannisters and allow them to hire new troops and to pay their troops. And I think that's going to have a massive knock-on effect for their army, and I think they're in a very strong position. And the way I see it playing out is, I think, one of two ways. Now, what could happen is that Daenerys could potentially have the Unsullied attack King's Landing from one side and the dragons from the other, along with the Dothraki, which would make sense, and that would make a nice big climax to the episode, to the season. Sorry. Alternatively, they could stop fighting. Do you see that happening? They could just stop fighting and they could go to Jon Snow. You're absolutely spot on, Jon. Let's put aside our differences and murder up all the icy zombies coming our way.
Yeah, I don't really see that happening, to be honest, because logically that probably makes much more sense. But, I mean, there's a reason Jon's struggling so much to convince anyone of the threat in the north who hasn't, seen it with their own eyes. And I think Dany knows that she needs him as an ally, that he would make a good ally, but she's not about to give up on everything she's been working towards this entire time to go and help him out with something that really she still doesn't believe is possible. I think Dany's still in a position whereby if she attacked King's Landing, if she attacked Cersei head on, she would still win, probably. I mean, dragons, But if she holds back as she has been doing, if Tyrion still convinces her that that's the right path to take, we're slowly going to see her strengths eroded away more and more and more, so that when it does finally come time to it, it's going to be such a fair fight that it's kind of anyone's guess who's going to win.
Yeah. One thing I think that could be a bit of a... There's two sort of factors of chaos. I mean, Euron, you sort of understand him now, and I think you can sort of guess what he's going to do next. He's going to be unpredictable and turn up and be a bit mad. I think Jaime is the factor that might decide it. Now, he's having second thoughts about Cersei and about how she's running things. We saw this from the scene of intimacy. He didn't seem too sure about what he was doing, and even though he strode in and poisoned Lady Olenna at the end, or made her poison herself, he didn't really know all the facts about it. He didn't know that she'd poisoned Joffrey. And I think a lot of the things that he's coming across are making him question his values and who and what he's fighting for. And I wonder if we've seen images of him in a teaser trailer charging across a battlefield on his own. I wonder if he's going to be persuaded to switch sides or do something that undermines Cersei in the future, and that may swing the tide of battle against her. I think they might build up to making it look like, my God, she's going to win this, and Daenerys is going to get defeated. I think Jaime might be the factor that swings it the other way.
Well, I think you're mad, because if anything, I think that episode actually cemented Jaime's loyalty to Cersei. There were moments in it where he's not 100% on board with all her decisions, which, let's be honest, fair enough. But the way he was talking about her with Lady Olenna, all the things he was saying about, he's gone this far with her, if she's pushed him this far, there's kind of no going back. I actually think that's true. There may come a day where he genuinely hates himself for it, but I don't see him betraying Cersei intentionally in that way. She's effectively all he's got left. He might be upset with her about the decisions she's made because a lot of them have led to the death of their children, but their children are gone. He betrays Cersei. He does still love her. He has nothing left. And I kind of get the impression that he'll probably die defending her to the bitter end, against all odds, because it's the same thing he's done his whole life. He doesn't know how to be anything else but that. Okay.
We will then disagree on that, because I'd like to remain mad in my position that he might change his mind. Obviously, let us know what you think in the comments. Do you think Cersei's got a shot at beating Daenerys? Do you think Jaime and Cersei are going to be forever? Or is he going to turn tail and join Daenerys, or at least fight against Cersei? Let us know in the comments, as I said, and if you want more Game of Thrones coverage, just hit subscribe below.